you ever watched a story that slowly pulls you in, and before you even realize it, you're completely lost inside its world? My Fault is one of those films that doesn't just entertain, it makes you feel every moment. From the very beginning, the movie builds a sense of mystery and tension, where every scene carries meaning and every character hides something deeper beneath the surface. As the story unfolds, you start to see how small decisions lead to unexpected consequences. The film takes you through intense moments, emotional turns, and powerful scenes that keep you hooked till the very end. It's not just about what happens, it's about why it happens and how it changes everything. The characters in this film are not simple. Each one has a purpose, a backstory, and a role that connects to the bigger picture. Their performances bring life to the story, making every scene feel real and impactful. But what truly makes My Fault stand out is the way it was created, the vision behind the story, the effort put into its production, and the ideas that inspired it. Every detail, from storytelling to execution, adds something unique to the overall experience. In this video, we're going to break down the complete story, explore the characters, and analyze everything from its creation to its success. And just to be clear, this is not a full movie or a movie screening. It's a detailed review and analysis made for learning and entertainment purposes. So let's begin and take a closer look at My Fault. Some stories pull you in with spectacle, but this one starts with tension that feels personal. It does not rush to impress you with scale. It builds pressure through choices that feel risky from the very beginning. You sense that one decision will change everything, even before you understand who these people really are. That quiet intensity becomes the hook, and it holds your attention without asking for permission. By the time the first few moments settle, you are already inside a world where emotions run ahead of logic. Today, we are breaking down My Fault, released in 2023 and directed by Domingo González, starring Nicole Wallace and Gabriel Guevara. This is not a simple love story that follows a predictable path. It mixes romance with conflict, identity, and the kind of attraction that feels dangerous even when it looks beautiful on the surface. What you are watching here is a review and a deep breakdown, not the full movie, so the focus stays on meaning, choices, and character behavior rather than just retelling events. The goal is to understand why certain moments hit the way they do and how the story builds emotional weight over time. The tone stays grounded, but the emotions never feel small. The story opens with a transition that already carries emotional friction. A young girl named Noah is forced to leave her old life behind, not because she wants to grow, but because her mother has made a decision that changes everything overnight. There is no long explanation at the start, just a clear shift in environment that signals loss. You can feel it in the way Noah looks around, the way she holds herself, and the way she avoids connecting with what is new. This is not excitement. It is resistance. That difference matters because it shapes every reaction she has from this point forward. Noah arrives at a large, modern house that feels almost too perfect. The space is clean, organized, and controlled, which contrasts sharply with the emotional chaos she is carrying inside. Her mother, clearly trying to start fresh, leans into this new life with hope. But Noah does not mirror that energy. She moves through the house like a guest who never plans to stay. Every corner of this environment reminds her that she had no choice in getting here. That sense of being out of place becomes one of the strongest emotional drivers early on. Then comes the introduction of Nick, and the tone shifts immediately. He is confident in a way that does not ask for approval. His presence is calm, but there is something unpredictable under the surface. When Noah and Nick first interact, it does not feel like a normal meeting between two people who are about to share a home. There is tension from the first exchange, not loud, but sharp. Their words are simple, but the way they look at each other carries weight. It is clear that this connection will not be easy or stable. Nick is not written as a typical charming lead. He carries a certain edge that makes you question his intentions even when he is being polite. That ambiguity is important because it prevents the story from becoming too comfortable too early. You do not fully trust him, and at the same time, you cannot ignore the pull he creates in every scene he is part of. Noah senses this as well, and instead of leaning into curiosity, she builds a wall. That reaction is not just about him. It is about control. She has lost control over her life, and this is one area where she refuses to give in. As the early interactions continue, the tension grows without needing dramatic events. Small moments carry weight because of what is not being said. A look that lasts a second longer than it should. A response that feels slightly too sharp for the situation. These details build a pattern that suggests something deeper is forming, even if neither of them is ready to admit it. The pacing here is careful. It does not rush to define the relationship. It allows discomfort to sit in the space between them. At the same time, the film starts introducing the social environment around them. Nick's world is not just about family. It includes a circle of friends, a lifestyle that leans into risk, and an energy that feels fast compared to Noah's guarded approach. When Noah steps into this space, she is not just entering a new house. She is entering a culture that operates on different rules. The contrast becomes clear in how she reacts to conversations, how she observes behavior, and how she chooses when to speak and when to stay silent. One of the strongest elements in this opening section is how the story handles power dynamics. Nick seems comfortable in every situation, while Noah constantly evaluates her position. She does not want to appear weak, but she also does not want to engage with something she does not trust. That internal conflict creates tension even in simple scenes. When they argue, it is not just about the topic at hand. It is about control, identity, and the need to protect oneself from getting hurt again. There is also a layer of past trauma hinted at through Noah's behavior. She reacts quickly to certain tones, certain types of authority, and certain emotional triggers. The film does not explain everything right away, which works in its favor. It allows you to observe before you understand. That approach makes her reactions feel more real because they are not framed as explanations. They are just part of who she is. Over time, those pieces will start to connect, but at this stage, they simply create depth. Nick, on the other hand, presents a different kind of mystery. He is not emotionally open, but he is not completely closed either. There are moments where his guard drops slightly, but they are brief and easy to miss. This creates a push and pull dynamic that keeps the interaction between them active. Noah pushes back when he gets too close. Nick tests boundaries when she tries to distance herself. Neither of them is stable in this interaction, and that instability becomes the core of their connection. As the first segment continues, a key shift happens when Noah begins to step slightly outside her comfort zone. This is not a full transformation. It is subtle. She observes more. She listens more. She starts to understand the rhythm of this new environment, even if she does not accept it yet. That shift is important because it marks the beginning of her engagement with the world around her. She is no longer just resisting. She is starting to process. One particular moment stands out because it captures the tone of the story perfectly. A simple interaction turns into a quiet confrontation, not through raised voices, but through controlled expressions. Nick says something that feels casual on the surface, but carries an underlying challenge. Noah responds with a line that seems defensive, but reveals more about her than she intends. The scene ends without resolution, but the emotional impact stays. That is how this story builds momentum. It does not rely on big events. It relies on layered interactions. By this, the foundation is clear. This is a story about two people who are drawn to each other in a way that feels both inevitable and risky. It is not built on ideal conditions. It is built on conflict, tension, and unresolved emotions. The environment around them amplifies these elements rather than calming them. Every choice they make moving forward will carry weight because the starting point is already unstable. The pacing remains controlled, which helps maintain engagement without overwhelming the viewer. Instead of rushing into dramatic twists, the story invests in character behavior. It allows you to understand how each person reacts under pressure. That approach creates a stronger payoff later because the emotions feel earned. At this stage, nothing has fully escalated yet, but the groundwork is strong enough that you can sense where things might go. What makes this opening effective is its focus on emotional realism within a heightened setting. The house is large. The lifestyle is intense, but the feelings remain grounded. Noah's resistance feels justified. Nick's behavior feels intentional, even when it is unclear. Their dynamic does not feel forced. It develops through small, consistent interactions that build tension over time. As we move forward, the connection between Noah and Nick will start to shift in ways that challenge both of them. The lines they set early on will begin to blur. What starts as resistance will slowly turn into something harder to control. And that is where the story begins to deepen, not just in terms of romance, but in terms of consequences. The tension that builds in the early interactions does not disappear. It sharpens. What felt like distance in the beginning slowly turns into something more complicated, because distance is no longer easy to maintain when two people share the same space every day. Noah starts to notice patterns in Nick's behavior. He moves through his world with a level of certainty that feels almost practiced. He knows when to speak, when to stay quiet, and how to hold attention without asking for it. That level of control creates curiosity, even for someone who is trying to stay guarded. Noah does not trust that calm exterior. She reads it as a mask, something designed to keep people from getting too close. That assumption shapes the way she responds to him. When he offers something that could be seen as kindness, she questions the intention behind it. When he steps back, she notices the absence more than she expects. This internal contradiction becomes a quiet struggle. She wants distance, but she also starts paying more attention than she planned to. Their interactions begin to carry a rhythm. It is not friendly, but it is not purely hostile either. There is a push and pull that neither of them acknowledges directly. A short exchange in the hallway can carry more weight than a long conversation with anyone else. That is because every word between them feels loaded. They are not just speaking. They are testing limits. Each response becomes a signal, and both of them are constantly reading those signals. As Noah spends more time in this new environment, she starts encountering Nick's social circle in a more direct way. His friends bring a different kind of energy into the story. They are loud, confident, and comfortable with a lifestyle that feels unfamiliar to her. There is a sense of freedom in the way they act, but also a lack of boundaries that makes Noah cautious. She does not blend in easily, and she does not try to. Instead, she observes, measuring how much of this world she is willing to accept. Nick's role within that group becomes clearer during these moments. He is not just another member. He carries influence. When he speaks, people listen. When he decides something, the group adjusts around it. That dynamic adds another layer to his character. It shows that his confidence is not just personal. It is reinforced by the environment he controls. For Noah, this makes him even more difficult to understand. He is not just unpredictable on his own. He exists within a system that supports his unpredictability. One evening becomes a turning point in how Noah experiences this world. She is pulled into a gathering that feels more intense than anything she has been part of before. The music is loud, the atmosphere is charged, and the boundaries between people seem thinner. At first, she keeps her distance, staying on the edge of conversations, watching more than participating. But as the night progresses, that distance becomes harder to maintain. The environment pushes her to react, even if she is not ready. Nick notices the shift. He does not approach her immediately. He watches. That decision says a lot about how he operates. He does not rush into situations. He waits for the right moment, and when he moves, it feels deliberate. When he finally steps into her space, the energy changes again. Their conversation is brief, but it carries tension that cuts through the noise around them. It is not about what they say. It is about how they hold eye contact, how close they stand, and how neither of them fully relaxes. There is a moment where Noah almost lets her guard down. It is small, almost invisible, but it matters. Her tone softens slightly. Her posture shifts. For a second, she looks like she might allow a different kind of interaction. But just as quickly, she pulls back. That hesitation reveals something important. She is not just resisting Nick. She is resisting the possibility of feeling something she cannot control. That fear is stronger than her curiosity, at least for now. Nick responds in a way that is both subtle and calculated. He does not push her further in that moment. Instead, he steps back just enough to keep the connection alive without forcing it. This approach keeps the tension intact. If he had pushed harder, it might have broken the dynamic. By holding back, he allows it to grow. That choice shows that he understands the situation better than he lets on. As the night continues, the environment becomes more chaotic, and Noah finds herself caught between observing and participating. She is not fully comfortable, but she is no longer completely detached either. That shift creates vulnerability. In a space where control is already limited, even a small change in behavior can lead to consequences. The story uses this setting to build pressure without needing a dramatic event. The tension comes from the possibility of something going wrong at any moment. Outside of these social settings, the interactions between Noah and her mother add another layer to the narrative. Her mother is focused on building a new life, one that feels stable and secure. She believes this environment offers opportunities that were not available before. But that perspective does not align with Noah's experience. For her, this new life feels imposed. It is not a choice she made. This difference in perspective creates quiet conflict between them. Their conversations carry a sense of imbalance. Her mother speaks with optimism, trying to justify the change. Noah responds with restraint, holding back stronger emotions that sit just below the surface. This dynamic adds depth to Noah's character. It shows that her resistance is not limited to Nick. It extends to the entire situation. She is navigating multiple layers of tension at once, and none of them have easy solutions. Nick's presence continues to intersect with these personal conflicts in subtle ways. There are moments where he seems to understand more about Noah's situation than she expects. He notices details that others overlook. He reads her reactions with accuracy that feels almost uncomfortable. This creates a strange sense of connection. Even when they are at odds, there is an awareness between them that does not exist with anyone else. At the same time, hints about Nick's own struggles begin to surface. They are not explained directly. They appear through behavior. A sudden shift in mood. A reaction that feels stronger than the situation requires. A moment of silence that lingers longer than expected. These details suggest that his confidence is not as stable as it appears. There is something under the surface that he keeps controlled, but not fully hidden. This parallel between Noah and Nick becomes one of the most interesting aspects of the story at this stage. Both of them are dealing with internal conflicts that shape how they interact with the world. Both of them use control as a way to manage those conflicts. But their methods are different. Noah withdraws. Nick engages. That difference creates friction, but it also creates balance. Each one challenges the other in ways they are not prepared for. As the days pass, the interactions between them become more frequent, and the tension becomes harder to ignore. What started as resistance begins to shift into something more active. They argue more openly. Their conversations carry sharper edges. But within that conflict, there are moments that feel unexpectedly honest. A line delivered without defense. A reaction that reveals more than intended. These moments are brief, but they add depth to the connection. One particular exchange stands out because it breaks the pattern slightly. Instead of pushing against each other, they pause. The conversation slows down. There is space for something real to surface. Noah asks a question that is not meant to challenge. Nick responds without deflection. For a few seconds, the tension softens. It does not disappear, but it changes form. It becomes less about control and more about understanding. That shift does not last long, but it leaves an impact. Once that kind of connection is introduced, it cannot be ignored. Even when they return to their usual dynamic, there is an awareness that something else exists beneath it. That awareness changes how they interact moving forward. The tension is no longer just conflict. It carries a layer of curiosity that neither of them fully acknowledges. The pacing continues to stay controlled, allowing each of these developments to settle before moving forward. The story does not rush into defining their relationship. It lets it evolve through consistent interaction, small shifts, and emotional undercurrents. This approach keeps the narrative engaging because it feels unpredictable without being chaotic. By the end of this segment, the foundation that was set in the beginning starts to show signs of change. The resistance is still there, but it is no longer the only force driving their connection. Something else is forming, something that feels harder to manage. And as that feeling grows, the risk attached to it becomes more clear. What begins to change now is not obvious at first. There is no single moment where everything shifts. Instead, the energy between Noah and Nick starts evolving through small, consistent changes that slowly alter the way they respond to each other. The resistance is still there, but it no longer feels as solid as before. Cracks begin to form, not because either of them decides to lower their guard, but because maintaining that distance becomes more difficult with every interaction. One afternoon captures this shift in a quiet but meaningful way. The setting is calm, almost too calm compared to the tension that usually surrounds them. Noah finds herself in a space where she does not expect to run into Nick, but he is already there. The surprise is not dramatic, but it creates a moment where neither of them is prepared with their usual defenses. Their conversation starts without the usual edge. There is hesitation, but also a strange sense of ease that neither of them fully understands. Nick speaks first, but his tone is different. It lacks the sharpness that usually defines his words. Noah notices immediately. She responds carefully, almost testing whether this change is real or temporary. The conversation moves slowly, each sentence measured, as if both of them are trying to understand this new version of the interaction. There is no argument, no challenge, just a quiet exchange that feels more honest than anything they have shared so far. This moment matters because it reveals something that has been hidden beneath the tension. There is a version of their connection that is not built on conflict. It is brief, but it is enough to change how they see each other. Once that possibility exists, it cannot be ignored. Even when they return to their usual dynamic, the memory of this interaction stays with them. As the days move forward, Noah begins to notice more details about Nick that do not fit into her initial impression of him. He is still confident, still controlled, but there are moments where that control slips just enough to reveal something else. A quick reaction that feels too emotional. A pause that suggests hesitation. These details do not change who he is, but they add complexity to his character. Noah's response to these moments is not straightforward. She does not suddenly trust him. Instead, she becomes more observant. Her attention sharpens. She starts to look for patterns, trying to understand what triggers these shifts in his behavior. This process pulls her closer, even if she does not realize it at first. Curiosity replaces some of the resistance, creating a different kind of tension. Nick notices this change as well. He sees the way she watches him, the way her reactions become more nuanced. Instead of pushing back immediately, she starts choosing her responses more carefully. This shift affects him in ways he does not fully express. He becomes more aware of his own behavior, more conscious of how he presents himself around her. That awareness introduces a new layer of complexity to their dynamic. Their conversations begin to carry a different weight. The arguments do not disappear, but they evolve. Instead of reacting purely out of instinct, they start engaging with each other on a deeper level. When they disagree, it feels less like a clash and more like a challenge. Each one pushes the other to reveal more, even if it is unintentional. This creates a sense of progression that feels natural rather than forced. At the same time, the environment around them continues to play a role in shaping their interactions. Nick's world remains intense, filled with moments that carry risk and unpredictability. Noah is still not fully comfortable in that space, but she is no longer completely detached from it. She begins to engage in small ways, testing her limits without fully committing. This gradual involvement adds pressure, because it places her in situations where her control is tested. One evening becomes particularly important in this progression. The atmosphere is less chaotic than before, but the tension is more focused. Noah finds herself in a setting where the distractions are minimal, leaving more room for direct interaction. Nick is there, and the absence of noise makes their connection more noticeable. Every word, every glance carries more weight because there is nothing to dilute it. Their conversation starts casually, but it does not stay that way for long. There is a shift, subtle but clear, where the tone becomes more personal. Nick asks a question that goes beyond surface level. Noah hesitates before answering. That hesitation speaks louder than her words. It shows that the question has touched something she usually keeps hidden. When she finally responds, it is not a complete answer, but it is enough to reveal a part of her that has not been visible before. Nick's reaction to this moment is restrained, but meaningful. He does not push for more. He accepts what she gives and allows the conversation to continue without forcing it deeper. This approach creates trust, even if it is fragile. It shows that he is capable of respecting boundaries, something Noah did not expect from him. That realization shifts her perception slightly. This growing complexity in their relationship does not remove the tension. It transforms it. The push and pull remains, but it is no longer purely defensive. There is an element of choice now. They continue to challenge each other, but there are moments where they also support each other, even if it is indirect. A comment that defends without making it obvious. A gesture that helps without drawing attention to itself. These details build a connection that feels layered and real. Outside of their interactions, the story continues to develop Noah's internal state. She is still dealing with the impact of her past, and those experiences influence how she processes everything around her. There are moments where her reactions seem stronger than the situation requires. These reactions are not random. They are tied to memories that have not been fully explored yet. The story hints at these connections without explaining them directly, allowing the audience to piece them together over time. Her relationship with her mother remains complicated. The distance between them does not close, but it shifts slightly. There are moments where they try to understand each other, even if those attempts do not fully succeed. These interactions add emotional weight to Noah's journey. They show that her struggle is not limited to one relationship. It extends across different parts of her life, creating a sense of tension that feels constant. Nick's background continues to reveal itself in small fragments. His behavior suggests that he is used to handling pressure, but not always in healthy ways. There are hints of conflict that exist outside of his interactions with Noah. These hints create anticipation, suggesting that his story will expand beyond what is currently visible. This layered approach keeps his character engaging, because there is always more to uncover. As their connection deepens, the risk attached to it becomes more apparent. The initial tension felt unpredictable, but now it feels meaningful. There is something at stake. The more they understand each other, the harder it becomes to maintain distance. This creates a sense of inevitability, but not in a predictable way. It feels like they are moving towards something without fully realizing it. One of the strongest aspects of this segment is how it balances progression with restraint. The story allows the relationship to develop, but it does not rush into defining it. It gives space for uncertainty, for hesitation, for moments that do not have clear outcomes. This approach keeps the narrative grounded, even as the emotional intensity increases. The dynamic between Noah and Nick has clearly shifted from where it started. The resistance that defined their early interactions is still present, but it is no longer the only force at play. There is curiosity, there is understanding, and there is a growing connection that neither of them can fully ignore. This change sets the stage for what comes next, where the stakes will begin to rise and the consequences of their choices will become harder to avoid. The shift that has been building between Noah and Nick does not announce itself loudly, but it starts affecting everything around them. What once felt like controlled distance now begins to carry a quiet pull. They still argue, still challenge each other, but there is a noticeable change in how those moments end. The sharp edges remain, yet something softer lingers underneath, making it harder for either of them to walk away unaffected. One morning captures this evolution in a subtle but revealing way. The house is unusually quiet, and that silence creates space for awareness. Noah moves through the kitchen expecting to be alone, but Nick is already there. The interaction begins with caution, both of them holding onto their usual tone. But as the conversation continues, the rhythm shifts. Their responses become less reactive and more intentional, as if they are both choosing their words with greater care. Nick says something that would normally trigger a defensive response. This time, Noah pauses before answering. That pause changes the entire dynamic. Instead of pushing back immediately, she considers his words, even if she does not fully agree. Her reply still carries resistance, but it is controlled rather than sharp. This small change signals something important. She is no longer reacting purely on instinct. She is engaging. Nick notices this difference. He adjusts as well, though in a less obvious way. His tone lowers slightly, his posture relaxes just enough to remove some of the tension. He does not press the conversation further than necessary. Instead, he allows it to settle naturally. This restraint becomes one of the key factors in how their connection continues to develop. He is not trying to win every exchange anymore. He is trying to understand. That understanding does not come easily. Later that day, their interaction shifts back into conflict, but it feels different from before. The argument is not louder or more intense. It is more personal. The words they use carry meaning beyond the surface. When Noah challenges him, it is not just about the situation in front of them. It is about what she thinks he represents. When Nick responds, he is not just defending himself. He is reacting to how he is being perceived. This layered conflict adds depth to their relationship. It shows that they are no longer just reacting to each other's behavior. They are reacting to what they believe about each other. That belief is still incomplete, still shaped by assumptions and limited understanding. But it is evolving, and that evolution creates tension that feels more grounded and more real. At the same time, Noah's involvement in Nick's world continues to increase, even if she does not fully acknowledge it. She spends more time around his social circle, not because she feels comfortable, but because she is trying to understand the environment that shapes him. This exposure brings new challenges. The people around Nick operate with a level of confidence that can feel overwhelming. They move quickly, make decisions without hesitation, and rarely question their own actions. Noah does not adopt this behavior, but she starts navigating it with more awareness. She learns when to step back and when to engage. She observes how conversations flow, how alliances form, and how influence shifts within the group. This process does not change who she is, but it sharpens her ability to respond. She becomes more adaptable, even if she remains cautious. Nick watches this progression with interest. He sees the way she adjusts without losing herself. That quality stands out to him because it contrasts with the people he is used to. Most of his world operates on predictability. Noah does not. Her reactions are not always easy to anticipate, and that unpredictability draws him in further. It challenges him in a way that feels unfamiliar. One evening, the tension between them reaches a point where it can no longer stay contained within small interactions. The setting is more intimate, with fewer distractions and more focus on direct engagement. They find themselves in a conversation that starts with something simple but quickly becomes more intense. The shift happens gradually, almost without notice, until they are no longer speaking about surface-level topics. Noah brings up something that touches on Nick's behavior, not as an accusation, but as an observation. Her tone is controlled, but there is an edge to it that suggests she has been thinking about this for a while. Nick responds with a mix of honesty and defense. He does not dismiss her point, but he does not fully accept it either. This balance keeps the conversation active, pushing it deeper without allowing it to collapse into argument. As the exchange continues, the emotional distance between them starts to narrow. They stand closer than before, not by intention, but because neither of them steps back. The space between them becomes charged, filled with tension that is no longer purely negative. It carries something else, something that neither of them names, but both of them feel. There is a moment where the conversation pauses completely. No words, no movement, just a shared awareness that something has shifted. This silence is not empty. It is full of meaning. It reflects everything that has been building between them, all the tension, all the curiosity, all the resistance. For a brief second, it feels like a decision is about to be made, even if neither of them fully understands what that decision is. But instead of moving forward, Noah steps back. The reaction is immediate, almost instinctive. She creates distance again, both physically and emotionally. That choice resets the dynamic, but not completely. The tension remains, now stronger because it has been acknowledged, even if only indirectly. Nick does not follow her. He stays where he is, allowing the moment to pass without forcing it further. This restraint becomes significant. It shows that he understands the importance of timing, even if he does not fully understand his own feelings. By not pushing, he preserves the connection rather than risking it. This approach keeps the tension alive, but it also adds a layer of respect that was not present before. Outside of their interactions, the story begins to introduce more external pressure. The world Nick is part of is not entirely stable. There are elements of risk that extend beyond social dynamics. These elements are not fully explored yet, but they are hinted at through conversations and behavior. A comment that feels too serious for the moment. A glance that suggests something unsaid. These details create a sense that there is more at stake than just emotional conflict. Noah becomes aware of this tension, even if she does not fully understand it. She notices changes in Nick's behavior, moments where he seems distracted or more guarded than usual. These shifts add another layer to her perception of him. He is no longer just unpredictable. He is carrying something that affects how he moves through his world. Her response to this realization is complex. She does not immediately try to uncover the truth. Instead, she becomes more attentive, more aware of the subtle changes around her. This awareness pulls her deeper into the situation, even if she is still trying to maintain control. The more she sees, the harder it becomes to stay detached. Their relationship continues to evolve within this growing complexity. The push and pull remains, but it now carries emotional weight that cannot be ignored. They are no longer just reacting to each other. They are influencing each other. Each interaction leaves an impact that carries into the next, creating a sense of continuity that strengthens the narrative. By the end of this segment, the foundation of their connection has clearly shifted. What started as resistance has transformed into something more layered, more difficult to define. The tension is still present, but it is no longer just a barrier. It has become a bridge, connecting them in ways they are not fully prepared to handle. The story holds back from fully resolving this tension, allowing it to build further. This restraint keeps the pacing controlled while increasing anticipation. It sets the stage for the next phase, where the emotional stakes will begin to rise alongside the external pressures that are slowly coming into focus. The connection that has been building between Noah and Nick no longer stays in the background. It begins to influence their decisions in ways that are harder to ignore. What once felt like tension they could walk away from now follows them into every shared space. Even when they are not speaking, there is an awareness that shapes how they move, how they react, and how they interpret each other's actions. One afternoon, that awareness becomes more direct. Noah finds herself in a situation where she needs help, not in a dramatic sense, but enough to push her out of her usual independence. She hesitates before asking, weighing the risk of involving Nick against the effort of handling it alone. That hesitation says a lot about where she stands. Asking him for anything feels like giving up a piece of control she has been trying to protect. When she finally approaches him, the interaction is brief but loaded. Nick does not respond with surprise or hesitation. He agrees quickly, almost as if he expected this moment to come at some point. His reaction shifts the tone immediately. There is no advantage taken, no subtle reminder of power. Instead, there is a straightforward response that feels unexpectedly neutral. This simplicity catches Noah off guard more than any challenge would have. As they spend time together in this situation, the dynamic changes again. Without the usual conflict driving the interaction, there is space for something more natural to emerge. Their conversation flows differently. It is not smooth, but it is not tense in the same way either. There are pauses that feel comfortable rather than heavy. There are moments where neither of them feels the need to fill the silence immediately. This shift allows new aspects of their personalities to come forward. Noah shows a side of herself that is less guarded, even if only slightly. She speaks more openly, shares small details without immediately pulling back. Nick responds in kind, offering glimpses of his own perspective without turning it into a performance. These exchanges are not dramatic, but they are important. They build a layer of trust that did not exist before. That trust is fragile, and both of them seem aware of it. Neither pushes too far, neither tries to define what is happening. They stay within the moment, allowing the interaction to exist without labeling it. This restraint keeps the connection grounded, preventing it from becoming something forced or unrealistic. It also makes every small shift feel more significant. As the situation resolves, there is a noticeable difference in how they part ways. The usual tension does not return immediately. Instead, there is a quiet acknowledgement that something has changed. It is not spoken, but it is clear in the way they look at each other before stepping away. That look carries more weight than any conversation they have had so far. However, the story does not allow this calm to settle for too long. The environment around them begins to reintroduce pressure. Nick's world continues to operate at a pace that does not leave much room for stability. Events start to unfold that pull him back into that intensity, and Noah finds herself closer to it than before. This proximity creates new challenges, because the connection they have built now exists within a more complicated context. One evening, the tension rises again, but this time it is different. It is not driven by misunderstanding or resistance. It is driven by external factors that push both of them into a situation where control becomes harder to maintain. The setting is louder, more chaotic, and filled with energy that feels unpredictable. Noah enters this space with more confidence than before, but that confidence is tested quickly. Nick's behavior shifts in this environment. He becomes more alert, more focused, as if he is managing something beneath the surface. Noah notices this change immediately. It contrasts with the version of him she has started to understand. This version is sharper, more guarded, and less accessible. The difference creates tension, not between them directly, but within the situation itself. At one point, their paths cross in a way that feels almost accidental, but the impact is immediate. Their interaction is brief, but it carries urgency. Nick says something that feels like a warning rather than a statement. Noah responds with confusion, trying to understand what he means, but he does not explain. He steps away before the conversation can develop, leaving her with more questions than answers. This moment introduces a new layer of conflict. It is no longer just about their personal dynamic. It is about the world Nick is part of and the risks that come with it. Noah is now close enough to feel those risks, even if she does not fully understand them yet. This creates a sense of tension that extends beyond their relationship, adding depth to the story. As the night continues, the atmosphere becomes more intense. The energy that once felt exciting now feels unstable. Noah moves through this space with increasing awareness, trying to piece together what is happening around her. She notices interactions that seem out of place, conversations that stop when she gets too close, and glances that suggest something is being hidden. Nick reappears later, but his approach is different this time. He is more direct, more focused on getting her out of the situation than engaging with her within it. This shift is clear in his tone and his actions. He does not explain everything, but his urgency is enough to signal that something is wrong. Noah resists at first, not because she wants to stay, but because she does not like being told what to do without understanding why. Their exchange becomes tense, but it is not the same kind of tension they have experienced before. This time, it is driven by concern rather than conflict. Nick's frustration comes from a place of protection, even if he does not express it openly. Noah's resistance comes from a need for clarity, a refusal to act without knowing the full picture. This clash creates a moment that feels both intense and revealing. Eventually, the situation forces a decision. Noah chooses to trust him, not completely, but enough to follow his lead. That choice marks an important shift in their relationship. It shows that the trust they have been building, even in small moments, is strong enough to influence her actions when it matters. This is not a full surrender of control. It is a calculated risk. Once they are removed from the immediate environment, the tension does not disappear. It changes form. The urgency fades, but the questions remain. Noah looks at Nick differently now, not just as someone unpredictable, but as someone who is connected to something larger than she initially understood. This realization adds complexity to her feelings, making them harder to define. Nick, on the other hand, seems more aware of the consequences of their connection. There is a shift in his behavior that suggests he is starting to consider the impact of his world on her. He becomes more cautious, not in how he interacts with her, but in how much he allows her to see. This creates a new kind of distance, one that is not driven by resistance, but by concern. Their conversation after this moment carries a different tone. It is quieter, more focused, with less room for deflection. Noah asks questions that go deeper than before. Nick answers some of them, but not all. The gaps in his responses are as important as the answers themselves. They suggest that there are parts of his life he is not ready to share or cannot share. This partial honesty creates tension, but it also builds intrigue. Noah is drawn in further, not just by her feelings for him, but by the need to understand the full picture. At the same time, she remains cautious, aware that getting too close could come with consequences she is not prepared for. The relationship between Noah and Nick has reached a point where it can no longer remain undefined. The connection is stronger, the stakes are higher, and the environment around them is becoming more complex. What started as tension has evolved into something that carries both attraction and risk. The story holds this balance carefully, allowing both elements to exist without resolving them too quickly. This approach keeps the narrative engaging while setting up the next phase, where the emotional and external conflicts will begin to collide in more direct ways. The aftermath of that intense night does not fade quickly. It lingers in the way Noah thinks, in the way she replays moments that did not fully make sense at the time. What stays with her most is not the chaos itself, but the way Nick handled it. His urgency, his control, and the fact that he chose to step in without explaining everything. That choice creates a new kind of tension, one built on questions rather than resistance. The next time they see each other, the atmosphere feels different. It is quieter, but not in a comfortable way. There is an unspoken understanding that something has changed, even if neither of them addresses it directly. Noah approaches the interaction with more focus than before. She is no longer just reacting. She is looking for answers, even in the smallest details. Nick senses this immediately. His usual confidence remains, but it is more measured. He chooses his words carefully, avoiding anything that might open a conversation he is not ready to have. This restraint creates distance, but not the same kind that existed at the beginning. This distance feels intentional, as if he is trying to manage the situation rather than avoid it. Noah does not accept this distance easily. She challenges him, not with anger, but with persistence. Her questions are direct, but her tone stays controlled. She is trying to understand, not provoke. This shift in her approach changes the dynamic again. It forces Nick to respond in a way that goes beyond surface-level deflection. He gives her pieces of the truth, but not the full picture. Each answer reveals something but also leaves gaps. These gaps become more noticeable with every exchange. Noah starts connecting small details, building her own understanding from what he chooses not to say. This process draws her deeper into his world, even without his full cooperation. At the same time, the connection between them continues to grow in quieter ways. The tension that once dominated every interaction now shares space with something more stable. They spend time together without conflict, without the constant need to challenge each other. These moments are not dramatic, but they carry weight because they show a different side of their relationship. One afternoon stands out because of how normal it feels. There is no pressure, no urgency, just a shared moment that unfolds naturally. They talk about things that have nothing to do with conflict or hidden tension. The conversation flows easily, and for a while, it feels like they are simply two people getting to know each other without barriers. This sense of normalcy is new, and it affects both of them. Noah relaxes in a way she has not before. Her guard lowers, not completely, but enough to allow her personality to come through more freely. Nick responds to this change with a different kind of attention. He listens more, reacts with less defensiveness, and allows the moment to exist without trying to control it. But even in this calm, there is an awareness that it cannot last forever. The reality of their situation remains just beneath the surface. The world Nick is part of does not disappear simply because they choose to ignore it for a while. This underlying tension adds depth to the moment, making it feel more significant because it is temporary. As the day comes to an end, there is a shift that feels inevitable. The conversation slows, the energy changes, and the space between them becomes more noticeable. They are closer than before, both physically and emotionally, and that closeness carries a different kind of weight now. It is no longer just tension. It is something that feels more direct, more difficult to ignore. There is a moment where neither of them speaks. The silence stretches, but it does not feel empty. It feels charged, filled with everything that has been building between them. Noah looks at Nick with a level of openness she has been avoiding. Nick meets that look without hesitation, but there is something in his expression that suggests he understands the risk of what is happening. This is where the connection shifts again. It moves from something implied to something that feels almost real. They do not define it, they do not speak about it, but it exists in that moment with clarity. The tension that once kept them apart now pulls them closer. It is not comfortable, but it is not something either of them steps away from immediately. Then, just as quickly as it builds, the moment is interrupted. It does not break completely, but it is enough to reset the dynamic. The interruption comes from outside, a reminder that their connection does not exist in isolation. The world around them continues to move, bringing with it complications that cannot be ignored. This interruption becomes a turning point. It brings back the external pressure that has been building in the background. Nick's attention shifts again, becoming more focused, more alert. Noah notices this change and understands that whatever he has been holding back is still very much a part of his life. The next sequence of events starts to reveal more about that hidden layer. It is not presented all at once. Instead, it unfolds through actions and reactions that suggest something larger is at play. Nick becomes involved in situations that carry risk, and while the details are not fully explained, the impact is clear. Noah finds herself closer to this reality than before. She sees enough to understand that this is not just a social environment. There are stakes involved, consequences that extend beyond personal relationships. This realization changes how she views everything. It adds a sense of urgency to her need for answers. Her interactions with Nick reflect this shift. She becomes more direct, less willing to accept partial explanations. The emotional connection they have built gives her the confidence to push further, even if it creates tension. She is no longer just curious. She is invested. Nick responds with a mix of honesty and caution. He reveals more than before, but he still holds back key details. This balance creates a new kind of conflict. It is not about whether they connect, but about how much of his world he is willing to share. This conflict feels more serious because it carries real consequences. At the same time, the attraction between them becomes harder to ignore. It is no longer hidden beneath arguments or subtle interactions. It shows in the way they look at each other, in the way they react to proximity, and in the moments where words are not needed to communicate what they feel. This shift adds intensity to every scene they share. One particular moment captures this perfectly. They find themselves alone again, but the context is different this time. The emotional weight of everything that has happened carries into the space. Their conversation starts with unresolved tension, but it quickly moves into something more personal. Noah confronts him, not aggressively, but with honesty. She expresses what she feels, not just about the situation, but about him. This openness changes the tone completely. Nick listens without interrupting, his usual defenses lowered. When he responds, it is more direct than anything he has said before. This exchange does not resolve everything, but it brings clarity. It shows that their connection is not just built on tension or curiosity. It is real, and it affects both of them in ways they can no longer ignore. That realization becomes the foundation for what comes next. The story reaches a point where both the emotional and external conflicts are fully in motion. The relationship between Noah and Nick has evolved into something deeper, but it now exists within a world that carries real risk. The balance between these elements becomes more fragile, setting up a phase where choices will have stronger consequences. The clarity that begins to form between Noah and Nick does not make things easier. It makes them more complicated. Once feelings are acknowledged, even without being fully defined, every decision carries more weight. What they choose to say, what they choose to hide, and how they respond to pressure now affects more than just themselves. That shift changes the tone of every interaction moving forward. The next few days unfold with a quiet intensity. There is no dramatic confrontation, no sudden event that forces them into action. Instead, the tension builds through awareness. Noah becomes more conscious of how much Nick's world is starting to overlap with her own. She notices the way certain conversations stop when she enters a room, the way some of his friends look at her with curiosity mixed with caution. These details may seem small, but together they create a sense that she is stepping into something that was not meant for her. Nick tries to manage this overlap, but his approach is not perfect. He becomes more selective about when he involves her, more careful about what she sees. This effort is not hidden. Noah can feel it, and it creates a new kind of distance between them. It is not the defensive distance from the beginning. It is a protective one, and that difference makes it harder for her to push against it. She does not confront him immediately. Instead, she watches. She pays attention to the patterns in his behavior, trying to understand what he is protecting her from. This observation changes her role in the story. She is no longer just reacting to events. She is anticipating them. That shift gives her more control, but it also pulls her deeper into the situation. One evening, this growing tension reaches a point where it can no longer stay unspoken. The setting is calm, almost deceptively so, which makes the conversation that follows feel more intense. Noah brings up the distance she has been feeling, not as an accusation, but as a question. Her tone is steady, but there is an edge of frustration that reveals how much this has been affecting her. Nick does not dismiss her concern. He listens, but his response is measured. He explains just enough to acknowledge her feelings without exposing the full reality. This partial honesty creates a moment where both of them are aware of the gap between what is said and what is left unsaid. That gap becomes the focus of the interaction. Noah pushes slightly further this time. She asks for clarity, not in a demanding way, but with a level of persistence that shows she is no longer willing to stay on the surface. Nick hesitates, and that hesitation speaks more than any answer. It confirms that there are things he is not ready to share, or perhaps things he believes she should not be part of. This moment creates a turning point in how Noah approaches their relationship. She realizes that understanding Nick will not come from waiting for him to open up. It will require her to step closer to the parts of his life he is trying to keep separate. That realization does not come with confidence. It comes with uncertainty, but also with a sense of determination. As this internal shift takes place, the external pressure continues to build. Nick's involvement in his world becomes more visible, even when he tries to keep it contained. There are moments where his attention is pulled away suddenly, where his focus shifts in a way that suggests something urgent. Noah notices these changes and begins to connect them with the pieces she has already observed. Her growing awareness leads to a decision that marks a clear change in her character. Instead of staying at a distance, she chooses to engage more directly. This choice is not impulsive. It is calculated, driven by the need to understand what she is becoming a part of. It also reflects the trust that has been building between them, even if that trust is still incomplete. One particular night becomes a key moment in this progression. The environment is familiar, but the energy feels different. There is a tension in the air that is harder to ignore, a sense that something is about to happen even if no one says it out loud. Noah enters this space with more awareness than before, watching carefully, picking up on details she might have missed earlier. Nick is present, but his focus is divided. He interacts with her, but there is a distance in his attention that was not there before. This creates a subtle imbalance. Noah feels it immediately, and instead of stepping back, she leans into it. She stays close, observing how he moves, how he reacts to the people around him. At one point, their interaction becomes more direct. Noah asks a question that touches on the situation around them, not just their relationship. It is a step further than she has gone before. Nick responds with caution, giving her enough to acknowledge the reality without revealing too much. This exchange reinforces the idea that she is close to understanding something bigger. As the night progresses, the tension escalates. It is not loud or chaotic at first. It builds slowly, through interactions that feel slightly off, through moments that carry more weight than they should. Noah senses this shift, and her attention sharpens. She begins to see the connections between different elements, the way people move, the way conversations change. Nick becomes more alert as well. His behavior shifts into a more controlled state, his focus narrowing as if he is preparing for something. This change does not go unnoticed by Noah. It confirms what she has been suspecting, that there is a layer to his life that operates under different rules. The situation reaches a point where action becomes necessary. The details are not fully clear, but the urgency is. Nick moves quickly, making decisions that reflect experience rather than hesitation. Noah is caught in the middle of this moment, no longer just an observer but a participant. This shift is significant because it places her directly inside the reality she has been trying to understand. Their interaction during this moment is intense, but not chaotic. Nick gives instructions, clear and direct, and Noah follows, even as she processes what is happening. This dynamic shows how much their relationship has evolved. There is trust in the way she responds, even without full understanding. Once the immediate tension passes, the impact of the moment remains. Noah looks at Nick with a new perspective. The pieces she has been observing begin to form a clearer picture, even if it is still incomplete. She understands now that his world carries risks that cannot be ignored. Nick, in turn, becomes more aware of how much she has seen. This awareness affects his behavior. He can no longer maintain the same level of distance without it feeling forced. The line he has been trying to draw between her and his world starts to blur, not because he wants it to, but because the situation no longer allows it. Their conversation after this moment reflects this change. It is more direct, more honest, but still careful. Noah asks questions with a level of confidence that was not there before. Nick answers with more openness, but he still holds back certain details. This balance creates a new kind of tension, one that is less about misunderstanding and more about limits. At the same time, the emotional connection between them continues to intensify. The experiences they share now carry more weight, creating a bond that feels stronger but also more complicated. They are no longer just navigating their feelings. They are navigating a situation that affects how those feelings can exist. The story reaches a point where both characters are fully aware that they are moving into something deeper. The connection between them is no longer subtle, and the risks attached to it are becoming clearer. This awareness sets the stage for the next phase, where the balance between emotion and consequence will become even more difficult to maintain. The line that once separated Noah from Nick's world is no longer clear. What used to feel like something happening around her now feels like something she is standing inside. This shift changes how she processes everything. She is no longer just trying to understand Nick. She is trying to understand the consequences of being close to him and whether she is willing to accept them. The days that follow carry a different kind of weight. There is less confusion, but more tension. Noah moves through her routine with a sharper awareness, noticing how even ordinary moments feel slightly altered. Conversations with her mother feel more distant, not because they have changed, but because Noah is carrying something she cannot explain. That internal distance adds another layer to her character, showing how deeply the situation is starting to affect her. Nick's behavior reflects a similar shift. He is more present when he is with her, but also more controlled. It feels like he is constantly balancing two versions of himself. One that wants to stay close to her, and another that knows the risks of letting her get too involved. This internal conflict becomes visible in small ways. A hesitation before he answers. A glance that suggests he is thinking ahead. A decision to change the subject just as the conversation reaches something important. Noah does not ignore these signs anymore. She addresses them, not with confrontation, but with persistence. She asks questions that require more than simple answers. She challenges him in ways that push beyond their earlier arguments. This approach changes the tone of their interactions again. It creates a space where honesty becomes harder to avoid. One afternoon becomes a defining moment in this progression. The setting is quiet, giving their conversation room to unfold without interruption. Noah brings up the events that have been building in the background, not as isolated incidents, but as part of a pattern she has started to recognize. Her words are clear, focused, and deliberate. She is no longer guessing. She is connecting the pieces. Nick listens without interrupting, but his reaction is different this time. There is less deflection, less attempt to redirect the conversation. Instead, there is a visible tension in how he processes what she is saying. It is clear that he understands the position she is in. He knows that avoiding the truth completely is no longer an option. When he finally responds, it is more honest than before. He does not reveal everything, but he gives her a clearer view of the reality he operates in. His explanation is controlled, focused on the aspects he believes she needs to understand without exposing details that could pull her in further. This balance reflects his internal conflict. He wants to be honest, but he also wants to protect her. Noah absorbs this information carefully. She does not react immediately. Instead, she processes it, weighing what it means for her and for the connection they share. This moment is important because it shows her growth. She is no longer reacting emotionally first. She is thinking, evaluating, deciding how to respond in a way that aligns with who she is becoming. Her response is calm, but firm. She makes it clear that partial truths are not enough anymore. If she is going to remain part of his life, she needs to understand the risks fully. This statement shifts the dynamic again. It places a new kind of pressure on Nick, one that is not driven by conflict, but by expectation. Nick's reaction to this is complex. He respects her position, but he also understands what it would mean to meet that expectation. The more she knows, the more she becomes part of something he has been trying to keep separate. This realization creates a pause in the conversation, a moment where both of them are aware that a decision is being formed, even if it is not spoken yet. Outside of this interaction, the external world continues to move in ways that increase the stakes. The situations Nick is involved in become more active, more difficult to keep contained. There are moments where his attention is pulled away suddenly, where his focus shifts in a way that suggests urgency. Noah notices these patterns and begins to anticipate them even before they happen. This growing awareness leads her to make a choice that marks a clear turning point. Instead of waiting for explanations, she decides to observe more directly. She places herself in situations where she can see what is happening rather than relying on what she is told. This decision is risky, but it reflects her determination to understand the full picture. One night, this choice brings her closer to the truth than ever before. The environment is tense, carrying an undercurrent of something about to unfold. Noah enters this space with intention, her focus sharper than it has ever been. She watches how people interact, how movements feel more calculated, how conversations carry hidden meaning. Nick becomes aware of her presence quickly. His reaction is immediate, not in a dramatic way, but in the way his focus shifts toward her. There is a mix of concern and frustration in his expression, not because she is there, but because of what being there means. This moment highlights the difference in how they view the situation. For Noah, it is about understanding. For Nick, it is about protection. Their interaction is brief but intense. He questions her decision to be there without directly saying it. She responds with calm determination, making it clear that she is not there by accident. This exchange reinforces the shift in their dynamic. She is no longer someone who stays on the outside. She is stepping into the center of the situation. As events begin to unfold, the tension escalates quickly. This time, Noah is not shielded from it. She sees more, understands more, and feels the impact of what is happening in a way she has not before. The details are still not fully explained, but the seriousness is clear. This is not just a lifestyle. It is a reality with consequences. Nick's behavior in this moment is focused and controlled. He moves with purpose, making decisions that reflect experience. Noah watches this closely, seeing a version of him that is fully engaged in this world. It adds depth to her understanding, but it also raises new questions about how he fits into it. At one point, their paths cross in the middle of this tension. The interaction is brief, but it carries a level of urgency that leaves no room for misunderstanding. Nick gives her a clear instruction, not as a suggestion, but as something that needs to be followed. This moment tests the trust between them in a different way. Noah responds without hesitation. She follows his lead, not because she lacks independence, but because she recognizes the seriousness of the situation. This decision reflects the growth in her character. She understands when to take control and when to trust someone else's judgment. Once the immediate tension passes, the impact of what she has experienced begins to settle. The reality of Nick's world is no longer something she is trying to piece together. It is something she has seen, even if she does not fully understand every detail. This realization changes how she views everything. Their conversation after this moment is more direct than anything they have had before. There is less room for avoidance, less tolerance for partial answers. Noah speaks with clarity, expressing what she now understands and what she still needs to know. Nick responds with a level of honesty that reflects the shift in their relationship. This exchange does not resolve everything, but it brings them closer to a shared understanding. It shows that their connection has reached a point where it cannot exist without confronting the reality around them. This realization sets the stage for the next phase, where the emotional and external elements of the story will begin to collide more directly. Noah is no longer standing at the edge of Nick's world. She is inside it, aware of its risks and its impact. The connection between them is stronger, but also more complicated. Every step forward now carries consequences, and the choices they make will begin to shape not just their relationship, but the direction of the story itself. Now that Noah has seen enough to understand the weight of Nick's world, her perspective changes in a way that cannot be reversed. What once felt like mystery now feels like responsibility. She is no longer asking whether she wants to be part of this. She is asking what it will cost her if she stays. That shift makes every interaction more serious, even when nothing dramatic is happening on the surface. The next phase of the story slows down slightly, but the tension becomes more concentrated. Noah does not rush into decisions. She observes, reflects, and starts setting her own boundaries. This is important because it shows that her involvement is not passive. She is actively choosing how far she is willing to go, even if she does not yet know where that limit is. Nick senses this change immediately. He notices the way she carries herself, the way her questions become more precise, and the way she no longer accepts vague answers. This creates a different kind of pressure on him. Before, he could control the flow of information. Now, he is responding to someone who is no longer satisfied with partial truths. Their interactions begin to feel more balanced. The power dynamic that once leaned in Nick's favor starts to shift. Noah is no longer reacting from a place of uncertainty. She is engaging with clarity. When she challenges him, it is not emotional. It is intentional. This forces Nick to adjust, to meet her at a level he has not had to before. One conversation stands out because it captures this shift perfectly. The setting is calm, but the tone is serious from the start. Noah brings up everything she has seen and connects it in a way that leaves little room for denial. She does not accuse him. She lays out her understanding and waits for his response. This approach changes the entire dynamic. Nick listens carefully, and for the first time, there is no attempt to redirect or minimize. He understands that she is no longer guessing. She knows enough to require a real answer. His response is more open than before, but it still carries limits. He explains the nature of the risks, the kind of situations he is involved in, and why he has been trying to keep her at a distance. This explanation does not simplify things. It makes them more complex. Noah now understands that the danger is not abstract. It is real, and it affects how people around Nick operate. This realization forces her to confront a difficult question. Is the connection she feels strong enough to justify stepping further into this reality? Her response is not immediate. She takes time to process, which adds depth to her character. She is not driven purely by emotion. She weighs the consequences, considers what she is willing to accept and what she is not. This internal conflict becomes one of the strongest elements of this part of the story. At the same time, the emotional connection between her and Nick continues to grow. It is no longer subtle. It shows in the way they look at each other, in the way their conversations carry meaning beyond the words being spoken. There is a level of understanding between them that did not exist before, and that understanding makes it harder to step away. One evening, this tension between emotion and reality reaches a peak. The setting is quiet, almost isolated, which creates space for a conversation that cannot be avoided any longer. Noah brings up the question that has been building inside her. She does not frame it as a demand. She presents it as a choice, one that affects both of them. She asks him directly what being part of his life truly means. Not in vague terms, but in real terms. What risks, what changes, what consequences? Her tone is steady, but there is vulnerability beneath it. This is not just about understanding him. It is about deciding whether she can accept what comes with him. Nick's response is honest, but it is also difficult. He does not try to make it sound easier than it is. He explains that his world is unpredictable, that it involves situations where control is limited, and that being close to him means being exposed to those realities. This honesty is important because it removes any illusion. For a moment, there is silence. Noah absorbs what he has said, and the weight of it is clear in her expression. This is the kind of decision that cannot be made lightly. It affects not just her present, but her future. The story slows down here, allowing this moment to carry its full impact. Then something shifts. Instead of stepping away, Noah leans into the conversation. She does not ignore the risks, but she also does not let them define her decision completely. She acknowledges the reality, but she focuses on the connection they share. This response shows that her choice is not based on impulse. It is based on a balance between emotion and awareness. This moment changes everything between them. It removes the last layer of uncertainty about how they feel. The connection is no longer implied. It is acknowledged, even if not fully defined. This acknowledgement adds intensity to every interaction that follows. Their relationship begins to move into a new phase, one where the emotional connection and the external risks exist side by side. This balance is not stable. It creates tension, because every positive moment is now accompanied by the awareness of what could go wrong. At the same time, the external world does not slow down. The situations Nick is involved in continue to develop, becoming more complex and more difficult to manage. Noah is now aware of these developments, even if she is not directly involved in every detail. This awareness creates a constant undercurrent of tension. One particular sequence highlights this perfectly. Nick is pulled into a situation that requires his full attention. His behavior shifts into a focused, controlled state, leaving little room for anything else. Noah sees this change and understands that this is the reality he was describing. Her reaction is different from before. She does not panic or withdraw. She observes, processes, and waits. This shows how much she has grown. She is no longer reacting out of fear or confusion. She is responding with awareness and control. When Nick returns from this situation, there is a noticeable shift in their interaction. The emotional connection is still there, but it is now layered with the reality of what he is dealing with. Their conversation reflects this balance. It is more grounded, more honest, and more focused on what lies ahead. Noah makes it clear that she is not stepping away, but she also sets boundaries. She defines what she needs to feel secure, what she is willing to accept, and what she is not. This is a crucial moment because it establishes her role in the relationship as equal, not dependent. Nick respects this, even if it complicates things for him. He understands that keeping her close means adjusting how he navigates his world. This realization adds another layer of tension, because it forces him to balance his own reality with the presence of someone he now cares about deeply. The story reaches a point where both characters have made a clear, conscious choice to move forward together, despite the risks. The connection between them is strong, but it now exists within a framework of reality that cannot be ignored. This sets the stage for the next phase, where the consequences of that choice will begin to unfold in more direct and challenging ways. The emotional bond has been established, but the true test lies in how it holds up when the external pressure increases. The choice Noah and Nick make does not bring relief. It brings clarity, and with that clarity comes pressure. Once both of them accept that they are moving forward together, the reality around them feels sharper. Every situation now carries more weight because it is no longer just about individual consequences. It is about what those consequences could do to the connection they have chosen to build. The days that follow feel more structured on the surface, but underneath, tension continues to build. Noah adjusts to this new phase with a level of focus that shows how much she has changed. She is not overwhelmed by what she has learned. She is adapting. She observes more carefully, thinks ahead, and begins to anticipate how certain situations might unfold. This shift gives her a sense of control, even in an environment that is far from stable. Nick notices this immediately. The version of Noah standing in front of him now is not the same person who arrived at that house at the beginning. She is more aware, more deliberate, and more willing to engage with difficult realities. This change affects him in ways he does not fully express. It creates respect, but also concern. The more capable she becomes, the deeper she moves into a world he knows is unpredictable. Their interactions reflect this balance. They spend time together in a way that feels more grounded, less driven by constant tension. Conversations flow with more ease, but they carry deeper meaning. When they talk, there is an understanding that goes beyond surface level. They are no longer testing each other. They are learning how to exist within the same reality. One afternoon highlights this shift clearly. They find themselves in a setting that feels calm, almost detached from everything else. The conversation starts lightly, but it gradually moves into more serious territory. Noah speaks about how she has been processing everything, how she sees the risks but also understands what she is choosing. Her words are measured, but they carry conviction. Nick listens with full attention. He does not interrupt, does not try to redirect. When he responds, it is with a level of honesty that shows he is no longer trying to control the narrative. He acknowledges the reality, but he also makes it clear that he is aware of what her presence means in that reality. This exchange strengthens their connection, but it also reinforces the seriousness of their situation. At the same time, the external pressure continues to grow. The situations Nick is involved in become more active, less contained. There are moments where his attention is pulled away suddenly, where his focus shifts in a way that suggests urgency. Noah sees these patterns more clearly now, and instead of reacting with confusion, she prepares herself for what might follow. One evening becomes a critical point in this progression. The environment feels tense from the start, even before anything happens. Noah senses it immediately. The energy is different, more focused, as if everyone is aware that something is about to unfold. This awareness creates a quiet intensity that builds without needing noise or chaos. Nick's behavior reflects this tension. He becomes more alert, more controlled, his movements precise and deliberate. Noah watches him closely, recognizing this version of him as the one that operates within his world. This time, she is not just observing. She is preparing herself to respond if needed. As the situation develops, the tension escalates quickly. It is no longer subtle. Actions replace conversations, and decisions need to be made without hesitation. Noah finds herself in the middle of this moment again, but her response is different from before. She does not freeze or hesitate. She processes what is happening and reacts with intention. Nick's interaction with her during this moment is direct and focused. He gives her clear instructions, and she follows without resistance. This dynamic shows how much trust has developed between them. It is not blind trust. It is built on everything they have experienced so far. This trust becomes essential in navigating the situation. The sequence unfolds with a level of intensity that brings the risks of Nick's world into full view. Noah sees how quickly things can change, how control can shift, and how decisions carry immediate consequences. This experience reinforces everything she has been told, but it also tests her ability to handle it. At one point, the situation reaches a level where the stakes feel higher than before. The tension is no longer just about uncertainty. It is about potential outcomes that could affect both of them directly. Noah feels this shift, and it forces her to make a quick decision. She chooses to stay engaged, to follow through rather than step back. This decision marks a significant moment in her character development. It shows that she is not just willing to be part of this world in theory. She is willing to face it when it becomes real. This choice strengthens her connection with Nick, but it also deepens the risks attached to it. Once the immediate tension passes, the impact of the moment lingers. The environment settles, but the emotional weight remains. Noah processes what she has experienced with a level of clarity that reflects her growth. She understands now that this is not something that can be approached lightly. Nick's reaction to the situation is more complex. He is aware of how close she has come to the reality he has been trying to manage. This awareness creates a conflict within him. He values her presence, but he also recognizes the danger of involving her further. This internal struggle becomes more visible in how he interacts with her afterward. Their conversation following this moment is one of the most honest they have had so far. There is no room for avoidance. Noah speaks openly about what she has seen and how it affects her decision to stay. She does not ignore the risks, but she also does not let them push her away. Nick responds with equal honesty. He expresses his concern, not as a way to distance himself, but as a reflection of how much the situation matters to him. This exchange deepens their connection, but it also highlights the tension that will continue to define their relationship. As the story moves forward, the balance between emotion and reality becomes more fragile. The connection between Noah and Nick is strong, but it exists within a world that does not allow for stability. Every moment of calm is temporary, and every decision carries consequences that extend beyond the present. It is clear that the story is moving toward a phase where these elements will collide more directly. The emotional bond has been tested and strengthened, but the external pressures are increasing. The choices they have made are beginning to shape the direction of the narrative in ways that cannot be reversed. The stage is set for the next sequence, where the tension will not just build, but begin to challenge everything they have established so far. The pressure that has been building finally starts to show its full effect. It is no longer something that sits in the background or appears only in intense moments. It becomes part of the everyday rhythm of their lives. This shift changes how Noah and Nick experience even the simplest interactions. What once felt like calm now carries an edge, a quiet awareness that something could change at any moment. Noah feels this more clearly than before. She has chosen to stay, to be part of this reality, but that choice comes with consequences she cannot ignore. The confidence she has built does not disappear, but it is tested in new ways. She begins to realize that understanding the risks is not the same as living with them. That difference creates a new layer of tension within her. Nick notices this change even when she does not express it directly. He sees it in the way she pauses before reacting, in the way her focus sharpens when something feels off. This awareness affects how he behaves around her. He becomes more attentive, more aware of how his actions might impact her. This shift is subtle, but it reflects how much their relationship has evolved. At the same time, the situations Nick is involved in become more demanding. There is less space for control, fewer moments where things can be managed quietly. The environment around him starts to feel more unpredictable, and that unpredictability extends to Noah as well. She is no longer shielded from it, and that exposure forces her to adapt quickly. One day stands out because it captures this shift in a very direct way. The atmosphere feels tense from the beginning, even though nothing obvious is happening. Noah senses it immediately. It is not based on a specific event, but on a collection of small signals. The way people move, the way conversations pause, the way attention shifts without explanation. These details create a feeling that something is about to happen. Nick is aware of it too. His behavior changes almost instinctively. He becomes more focused, less open, his attention moving constantly as if he is tracking multiple things at once. Noah watches this carefully, recognizing the pattern from previous moments. This time, she does not wait for things to unfold. She prepares herself mentally, ready to respond if needed. As the situation develops, the tension rises quickly. It is no longer subtle. Actions replace conversation, and decisions need to be made without hesitation. Noah finds herself in the middle of this moment again, but the stakes feel higher than before. The sense of control she has built is tested under pressure. Nick's interaction with her is direct and urgent. He gives her instructions that leave no room for interpretation. This moment highlights the trust between them, but it also reveals the limits of that trust. He is guiding her, but he cannot fully protect her from what is happening. That reality becomes clear as the situation intensifies. Noah responds with focus, following his lead while staying aware of everything around her. This balance shows how much she has grown. She is not just reacting. She is thinking, adjusting, and making decisions in real time. This ability becomes crucial as the situation reaches a critical point. At one moment, everything seems to narrow, The noise fades, the movement slows, and the focus shifts to a single decision that needs to be made. Noah feels the weight of that moment clearly. It is not just about what happens next. It is about what her choice says about who she is now. She chooses to act, not out of fear, but out of understanding. This decision marks a defining point in her character. It shows that she is no longer standing at the edge of this world. She is fully inside it, capable of handling its demands. This realization changes how both she and Nick see her role moving forward. Once the immediate tension passes, the aftermath feels heavier than before. The adrenaline fades, but the impact remains. Noah processes what has happened with a level of clarity that reflects her growth. She understands that each experience is shaping her, changing how she sees herself and the world around her. Nick's reaction is more complex. He is proud of how she handled the situation, but that pride is mixed with concern. He sees how deeply she is becoming involved, and he understands the risks that come with that. This creates an internal conflict that becomes more visible in how he interacts with her afterward. Their conversation following this moment carries a different tone. It is not just about what happened. It is about what it means for them moving forward. Noah speaks with confidence, making it clear that she is not stepping back. She acknowledges the risks, but she also affirms her decision to stay. Nick listens carefully, but his response is more cautious. He expresses his concerns openly, not as a way to push her away, but as a reflection of how serious the situation has become. This exchange highlights the tension between their perspectives. Noah is focused on moving forward. Nick is focused on the consequences of that movement. This difference creates a new kind of conflict. It is not driven by misunderstanding or lack of trust. It is driven by the reality of their situation. They both care about each other, but they approach the risks in different ways. This dynamic adds depth to their relationship, making it feel more grounded and complex. As the story continues, the external pressure does not ease. If anything, it becomes more concentrated. The situations Nick is involved in begin to overlap more, creating a sense that things are building towards something larger. Noah becomes aware of this pattern, even if she does not fully understand what it leads to. Her response is to stay engaged, to remain present and aware. She does not try to control everything, but she does not step back either. This balance reflects her growth and her commitment to the path she has chosen. It also shows that she is prepared to face whatever comes next, even if it is uncertain. Nick, on the other hand, becomes more focused on managing the situation. His attention shifts more frequently, his decisions become more calculated. He is trying to maintain control in an environment that is becoming harder to predict. This effort affects how he interacts with Noah, creating moments where he seems distant even when he is physically present. These moments of distance do not break their connection, but they do test it. Noah notices them, and instead of reacting emotionally, she addresses them directly. She asks questions, seeks clarity, and pushes for understanding. This approach keeps their communication open, even as the situation becomes more complex. One particular exchange captures this perfectly. Noah confronts him about the distance she feels, not with frustration, but with honesty. Nick responds with equal honesty, explaining that the situation is becoming more difficult to manage. This conversation does not resolve everything, but it reinforces the strength of their connection. It is clear that the story is approaching a critical phase. The tension has reached a point where it cannot continue to build without leading to a significant turning point. The emotional connection between Noah and Nick is strong, but it is now being tested by the reality around them. The choices they have made are beginning to shape the direction of the story in more direct ways. The balance between emotion and consequence is becoming harder to maintain, setting the stage for what comes next, where everything they have built will be challenged in ways they cannot avoid. The tension that has been building finally reaches a point where it cannot stay contained. It no longer hides in subtle shifts or quiet moments. It begins to take shape in ways that force decisions, not just from Nick, but from Noah as well. What once felt like something they could manage now feels like something that is starting to move beyond their control. Noah senses this change immediately. There is a weight in the air that feels different from before. It is not just tension. It is pressure that is about to turn into action. She has learned to read these signals, and this time, they feel stronger, more urgent. Instead of waiting for clarity, she prepares herself for impact. Nick is already there. His behavior reflects a level of focus that goes beyond anything she has seen so far. He is not just reacting. He is anticipating. Every movement, every decision carries intention. This version of him feels sharper, more controlled, but also more distant. It is as if he is already operating in a space where emotion has to be set aside. Their interaction at the start of this phase is brief but loaded. Noah tries to reach him, to understand what is happening, but he does not offer much. His responses are short, direct, and focused on what needs to be done rather than what needs to be explained. This creates a gap between them, one that feels more serious than any distance they have experienced before. Noah does not accept this gap easily. She pushes, not with emotion, but with clarity. She makes it clear that she is part of this now, that she cannot be kept at the edge when things become serious. Her words carry weight because they reflect everything she has gone through to reach this point. She is not asking for permission. She is stating her position. Nick reacts to this with a mix of respect and concern. He understands that she has earned her place in this situation, but he also knows what is at stake. This creates a moment of tension where both of them are aware that the next decisions will define more than just the immediate outcome. As events begin to unfold, the situation escalates quickly. There is no slow build-up this time. It moves with urgency, forcing everyone involved to act without hesitation. Noah finds herself in the middle of it again, but this time, the scale feels larger. The consequences feel more immediate. Nick takes control of the situation with precision. His actions are sharp, his focus unwavering. Noah watches this, understanding that this is the reality he has been trying to manage. But this time, she is not just observing. She is part of the movement, part of the decisions that need to be made. Their interaction during this moment is intense and direct. There is no room for hesitation or miscommunication. Nick gives her clear direction, and she responds with confidence. This dynamic shows how much their relationship has evolved. They are no longer navigating uncertainty. They are operating as a unit within a high-pressure situation. At one critical point, everything narrows again. The noise fades, the environment becomes secondary, and the focus shifts to a single decision that carries significant consequences. Noah feels the weight of that moment more strongly than ever before. It is not just about what happens next. It is about what kind of person she has become through all of this. She makes the decision without hesitation. It is not driven by fear or impulse. It is driven by understanding. This choice reflects the full extent of her growth. She is no longer adapting to this world. She is functioning within it. The situation reaches its peak and then begins to settle. The intensity fades, but the impact remains. The aftermath feels heavier than anything that has come before. It is not just about what happened. It is about what it means moving forward. Noah processes this with a level of clarity that shows how far she has come. She understands the reality of the world she has stepped into, not as an idea, but as an experience. This realization does not push her away. It grounds her decision to stay, even if that decision carries weight. Nick's reaction is layered. There is relief that the situation has passed, but there is also a deeper awareness of what it means that Noah was part of it. He sees how capable she has become, but that realization comes with concern. The more she proves she can handle this world, the harder it becomes to protect her from it. Their conversation after this moment is one of the most important in the story. It is not rushed. It unfolds with intention, giving space for both of them to express what they are feeling. Noah speaks first, her tone steady but honest. She reflects on what has happened and what it means for her choice to stay. Nick listens without interruption. When he responds, it is with a level of openness that goes beyond anything he has shown before. He acknowledges the reality of their situation, not just in terms of risk, but in terms of what it demands from both of them. This honesty strengthens their connection, but it also highlights the challenges ahead. This conversation leads to a moment of clarity between them. There is no illusion left, no part of the situation that remains hidden. They understand each other fully, both the connection they share and the reality that surrounds it. This understanding becomes the foundation for what comes next. At the same time, the story begins to shift toward resolution. The external conflicts that have been building start to take a more defined shape. The situations Nick is involved in begin to converge, creating a sense that everything is leading toward a final outcome. Noah becomes more aware of this shift. She sees how the pieces are coming together, even if she does not know exactly how it will end. This awareness creates a sense of anticipation, but also a sense of readiness. She is no longer reacting to events. She is preparing for what comes next. Nick's behavior reflects a similar understanding. He becomes more focused, more deliberate in his actions. There is a sense that he is moving toward something, not just responding to it. This shift adds intensity to the story, setting the stage for the final phase. Their relationship at this point feels solid, but not stable. It is built on trust, understanding, and shared experience, but it exists within a reality that does not allow for certainty. This balance creates a tension that carries into every moment, even the quiet ones. It is clear that the story is moving into its final stretch. The emotional connection has been fully established, the external conflicts are reaching their peak, and the choices both characters have made are about to be tested in their most direct form. Everything that has been building now points toward a conclusion that will not just resolve the events, but define what their connection truly means in the face of everything they have experienced. Everything now moves with intention. The slow build that shaped the earlier parts of the story gives way to a more focused progression, where every action feels connected to an outcome that is getting closer. There is no wasted movement, no unnecessary distraction. The story tightens, and that tension reflects directly in Noah and Nick. Noah enters this phase with a level of clarity that sets her apart from who she was at the beginning. She is no longer reacting to the world around her. She is anticipating it. The fear that once shaped her decisions has been replaced by awareness. That does not mean the fear is gone. It means it no longer controls her. Nick, on the other hand, carries a different kind of weight. He understands where everything is heading, even if he does not say it directly. His focus sharpens, his decisions become more precise, and his emotional distance increases slightly. This is not because he cares less. It is because he knows that what comes next will require control above everything else. This shift creates a subtle tension between them. Noah notices the distance immediately. It is not the same as before. It feels purposeful, as if Nick is preparing himself for something that cannot include hesitation. She does not ignore it. She confronts it in her own way, not with confrontation, but with presence. One evening, this tension comes into focus. The setting is quiet, almost still, which makes the emotional undercurrent more noticeable. Noah approaches him with a calm that reflects her growth. She does not demand answers. She asks for honesty. That difference changes everything about how the conversation unfolds. Nick responds with more openness than before, but there is still restraint. He explains that the situation is reaching a point where outcomes cannot be controlled the same way. His words are careful, but the meaning is clear. Things are about to escalate in a way that will affect both of them. Noah listens without interruption. Her reaction is not fear, but understanding. She has reached a point where she does not need every detail to grasp the reality. She sees it in his behavior, in the way he carries himself, in the way the environment around them feels heavier than before. Her response is simple but powerful. She makes it clear that she is not stepping back. This is not said with defiance. It is said with certainty. That certainty affects Nick more than any argument could. It forces him to accept that whatever happens next, she will be part of it. As the story moves forward, the external situation begins to unfold more directly. The pieces that have been hinted at throughout the narrative start to connect. Interactions become more deliberate, movements more calculated. There is a sense that everything is aligning toward a single outcome. Noah becomes more involved in this process, not as an observer, but as an active participant. She pays attention to details that once would have gone unnoticed. She understands the importance of timing, of positioning, of reading the environment. This growth is not presented as sudden. It feels earned, built through every experience she has gone through. Nick works within this unfolding situation with a level of precision that reflects his experience. He anticipates problems before they fully form, makes decisions quickly, and adjusts without hesitation. Noah watches this closely, not with confusion, but with understanding. She sees how he operates under pressure, and it strengthens her perception of him. At one point, their paths align in a way that feels critical. The moment is not loud or chaotic, but it carries a weight that is impossible to ignore. They stand in a space where everything feels balanced on a single decision. The connection between them is present, but it does not distract from what needs to be done. Their interaction in this moment is brief but meaningful. There are no long conversations, no emotional declarations. Instead, there is a look, a shared understanding that reflects everything they have built together. That understanding becomes their foundation as they move forward. As the situation intensifies, the tension reaches a level where every action feels amplified. Noah remains focused, applying everything she has learned. She does not second-guess herself. She trusts her instincts, and more importantly, she trusts the connection she has with Nick. Nick operates with the same level of focus, but there is an added layer now. He is not just managing the situation. He is aware of Noah's presence within it. This awareness influences his decisions, creating a balance between control and protection that is difficult to maintain. The sequence builds toward a moment where everything converges. The environment, the choices, the tension, all of it comes together in a way that forces resolution. Noah feels the weight of this moment clearly. It is not just about the situation. It is about everything that has led to this point. When the moment arrives, there is no hesitation. Both of them act with clarity. Their decisions align, not because they planned it, but because they understand each other at a level that goes beyond words. This alignment becomes the key factor in how the situation unfolds. The intensity peaks and then begins to break. The immediate pressure fades, but the impact remains. The outcome is not presented as simple or easy. It carries consequences, both external and internal. These consequences add depth to the resolution, making it feel grounded rather than idealized. Noah processes the aftermath with a sense of calm that reflects her transformation. She understands what has happened, what it means, and what it has changed in her. This understanding does not remove the weight of the experience, but it gives her a way to carry it. Nick's reaction is more complex. There is relief, but also reflection. He sees how everything has unfolded, how Noah has become part of it, and what that means moving forward. This realization creates a moment of quiet tension, not between them, but within him. Their interaction after this moment is different from anything before. It is not driven by tension or conflict. It is driven by clarity. They speak openly, without hesitation, acknowledging what they have been through and what it means for their relationship. This conversation does not solve everything, but it creates a sense of direction. It shows that their connection is not just based on intensity or shared experience. It is based on understanding, on choice, and on the willingness to face reality together. As the story moves toward its final part, the tone shifts slightly. The urgency begins to settle, making space for reflection. The external conflict has reached its peak, and now the focus begins to turn toward what remains after that peak. Noah and Nick stand at a point where everything they have built is clear. The question is no longer whether they will move forward together. The question is what that future looks like after everything they have faced. This sets the stage for the final part, where the story will not just conclude the events, but define the meaning of the journey they have taken. The intensity that defined the previous moments begins to settle, but it does not disappear. It transforms into something quieter, more reflective. The urgency fades, leaving behind the weight of everything that has happened. This phase of the story is not about action. It is about understanding what that action has changed. Noah stands in this space with a sense of clarity that feels earned. She is not the same person who arrived at the beginning, uncertain and resistant. Every experience has shaped her, and now she carries those experiences with awareness instead of confusion. The fear that once held her back has been replaced by something more stable. It is not confidence in the world around her, but confidence in her ability to face it. Nick, on the other hand, moves through this aftermath with a different kind of energy. The control he maintained throughout the intense moments begins to relax, but it reveals something underneath. There is reflection in the way he pauses, in the way he processes what has happened. He is not just looking at the outcome. He is looking at what it means for him and for the connection he shares with Noah. Their interaction in this phase carries a new tone. The tension that once defined every conversation is no longer the dominant force. It is still there, but it exists alongside something deeper. There is understanding now, a shared awareness that does not need to be explained in every moment. One scene captures this shift with quiet precision. The setting is simple, almost ordinary, but that simplicity allows the emotional weight to come through more clearly. Noah and Nick sit in a space where there is no immediate pressure, no external demand pulling their attention away. For the first time in a long time, they are able to exist in the same moment without distraction. Their conversation begins slowly, not because they do not have things to say, but because they are choosing their words carefully. Noah speaks first, reflecting on everything that has led them here. Her tone is calm, but it carries depth. She is not just describing events. She is describing how those events have changed her. Nick listens without interruption. His response is not immediate, but when it comes, it is honest. He acknowledges the impact of everything they have been through, not just in terms of the situation, but in terms of how it has shaped their relationship. This exchange feels different because it is not driven by tension or conflict. It is driven by clarity. As the conversation continues, they begin to define what their connection means now. It is no longer something uncertain or undefined. It is something that has been tested, shaped, and strengthened through experience. This definition does not come in the form of a single statement. It unfolds through the way they speak, the way they respond, and the way they understand each other. At the same time, the story does not ignore the reality around them. The world they exist in has not changed completely. The risks are still there, even if they are less immediate. This awareness adds a layer of realism to their interaction. It prevents the moment from feeling detached from everything that has happened. Noah addresses this directly. She speaks about the future, not in abstract terms, but in practical ones. What it means to move forward, what it requires, and what she is willing to accept. Her words reflect a level of maturity that has developed throughout the story. She is not idealizing the situation. She is approaching it with awareness. Nick responds with the same level of honesty. He does not promise that everything will be easy or stable. Instead, he acknowledges the uncertainty, but also the choice they have made to face it together. This balance between realism and commitment becomes one of the strongest elements of their interaction. There is a moment where the conversation pauses, not because it is unfinished, but because everything that needed to be said has been expressed. The silence that follows feels complete rather than empty. It reflects a level of understanding that goes beyond words. This moment leads into a quieter sequence where the focus shifts from dialogue to presence. Noah and Nick share a space without the need to fill it with conversation. Their connection is evident in the way they move, the way they respond to each other, and the way they exist within the same environment. This sequence serves as a contrast to the intensity that came before. It shows that their relationship is not only defined by tension and conflict. It also has the capacity for calm, for stability, even if that stability exists within a larger uncertain world. As the story continues, the focus begins to shift toward closure. The external elements that have driven much of the tension start to settle into a more defined state. This does not mean everything is resolved perfectly. It means that the immediate pressure has eased enough to allow the characters to reflect on what remains. Noah takes a moment to revisit the journey she has gone through. This reflection is not presented as a summary, but as a natural thought process. She considers where she started, what she has experienced, and who she has become as a result. This reflection adds depth to her character, reinforcing the transformation that has taken place. Nick undergoes a similar process, though it is expressed differently. His reflection is less verbal, more internal. It shows in the way he interacts, in the way he approaches situations, and in the way he looks at Noah. There is a sense that he is seeing things with a new perspective, one shaped by everything they have been through together. Their final interactions in this phase carry a sense of completion without finality. It does not feel like an ending in the traditional sense. It feels like a transition. They are not stepping away from each other. They are stepping into a new phase of their relationship, one that is informed by everything that has come before. The story allows this transition to unfold naturally, without forcing a dramatic conclusion. It focuses on the emotional resolution rather than a specific event. This approach keeps the tone consistent with the rest of the narrative, grounded and character-driven. As this comes to a close, there is a clear sense of where they stand. Noah and Nick are no longer defined by uncertainty or resistance. They are defined by choice, by understanding, and by the willingness to face whatever comes next together. The final part will bring everything into a clear perspective, not by introducing new conflict, but by defining the meaning of the journey as a whole. It will look at what the story represents, how the characters have evolved, and what remains after everything has been experienced. What remains now is not uncertainty, but definition. The story has moved through tension, conflict, growth, and consequence, and what is left is the meaning behind all of it. This final phase does not rely on intensity. It relies on clarity. It looks at what these moments have built, and whether that foundation is strong enough to carry forward. Noah enters this phase with a calm that feels steady rather than temporary. She is no longer adjusting to change. She has become the result of it. The hesitation that once shaped her choices has been replaced by awareness and control. She understands what she has stepped into, and more importantly, she understands herself within it. Nick stands in a similar place, but his journey carries a different weight. For him, this is not just about growth. It is about recognition. He sees how his world has affected someone else, and how that connection has changed the way he approaches everything. This awareness does not make him softer. It makes him more deliberate. Their interaction at this stage reflects everything they have been through. There is no need for tension to define their connection anymore. It exists on its own, shaped by experience rather than uncertainty. When they speak, it is direct, honest, and grounded. There is no performance, no attempt to control the narrative. Just clarity. One of the most important moments in this phase happens in a setting that feels almost ordinary. The simplicity of the environment allows the emotional depth to stand out. Noah and Nick are together without pressure, without urgency, and that absence reveals something important. Their connection does not depend on intensity. It holds even in stillness. Noah begins the conversation by addressing what their journey has meant to her. She does not speak in dramatic terms. She speaks with precision, describing how each experience has shaped her perspective. She acknowledges the risks, the challenges, and the moments where everything could have gone differently. But she also makes it clear that those moments are what gave the connection its meaning. Nick listens with full attention. His response is not immediate, but when it comes, it carries the same level of clarity. He speaks about responsibility, about the reality of the world he exists in, and about how that reality has changed because of her presence. This is not framed as regret. It is framed as understanding. Their conversation moves naturally into what comes next. Not in terms of specific plans, but in terms of direction. They do not try to predict everything. They focus on what they know. They know the risks, they know the connection, and they know the choice they have made to stay. This approach keeps the story grounded. It avoids turning the ending into something unrealistic. Instead, it reflects the complexity of their situation. The future is not guaranteed to be easy, but it is something they are choosing to face together. As this moment settles, the story shifts slightly to reflect on the journey as a whole. Noah's transformation becomes fully visible here. She started in a place of resistance, reacting to a life she did not choose. Now, she stands in a place of control, making decisions based on understanding rather than fear. This transformation is not presented as perfect. It is presented as real. She has not lost her caution or her awareness. She has learned how to use them. This balance becomes one of the strongest aspects of her character by the end of the story. Nick's evolution is more subtle, but just as important. He has not changed who he is at his core, but he has changed how he engages with the world. The presence of someone who understands him has forced him to confront aspects of his life he might have ignored before. This shift adds depth to his character, making him feel more complete. Their final interactions carry a sense of closure, but not finality. There is no dramatic ending, no single moment that defines everything. Instead, there is a series of quiet exchanges that reinforce what has been built. A look that carries meaning, a pause that feels comfortable, a decision that does not need to be explained. One scene stands out as a representation of this tone. Noah and Nick stand together in a space that feels open, almost symbolic of where they are now. There is no immediate tension, no external pressure. Just presence. They do not need to speak to understand each other. That understanding has been built through everything that came before. This moment reflects the core of the story. It is not just about romance. It is about growth, choice, and the ability to face reality without losing connection. That balance is what gives the story its strength. As the narrative reaches its final point, the focus turns toward the audience's perspective. This is where the review element becomes more direct. What makes this story work is not just the events, but how those events are handled. The pacing allows the characters to develop naturally. The tension builds in a way that feels earned. And the connection between Noah and Nick evolves through consistent, meaningful interaction. The performances play a key role in this. Nicole Wallace brings a level of depth to Noah that makes her transformation believable. Her reactions feel grounded, her growth feels gradual, and her presence carries emotional weight without needing exaggeration. Gabriel Guevara, as Nick, delivers a performance that balances control and vulnerability. He does not reveal everything at once, which keeps his character engaging throughout. The direction keeps the tone consistent, allowing the story to move between intensity and calm without losing focus. The visual style supports the emotional shifts, using environment and pacing to reinforce what the characters are experiencing. Nothing feels rushed, and nothing feels unnecessarily extended. In terms of storytelling, the film succeeds in maintaining a balance between romance and tension. It does not rely on cliches or predictable patterns. Instead, it builds its connection through conflict, understanding, and shared experience. This approach makes the relationship feel more real, even within a heightened setting. At the same time, the story is not without its challenges. There are moments where the pacing may feel slow for some viewers, especially those expecting constant action. But that slower pace is what allows the emotional depth to develop. It is a trade-off that works in favor of the overall narrative. The strength of the film lies in its ability to keep the audience engaged without relying on constant spectacle. It uses character development, emotional tension, and meaningful interaction to drive the story forward. This makes it stand out within its genre, offering something that feels more grounded and layered. As we reach the end, the question is not whether the story is perfect. It is whether it delivers on what it sets out to do. And in that sense, it succeeds. It presents a relationship that evolves through challenge, a world that adds complexity without overshadowing the characters, and a narrative that stays focused on meaning rather than just events. If we look at the film as a whole, it earns a strong rating. Not because it avoids flaws, but because it handles its core elements with consistency and intention. The connection between the leads, the pacing of the story, and the balance between emotion and tension all contribute to a solid experience. If you enjoy stories that focus on character growth, emotional tension, and relationships that evolve through real challenges, this is a film worth watching. It does not try to replace the experience of the full movie. It adds perspective, helping you understand why certain moments matter and how they come together to form a complete narrative. What stays with you after everything ends is not a single scene or a dramatic moment. It is the feeling of progression. The sense that every step taken by these characters led somewhere meaningful. This final stretch is less about what happens and more about what remains once everything has already happened. Noah stands at this point with a version of herself that feels complete, but not finished. There is a difference. She has reached a level of understanding that allows her to move forward with clarity, but she is still evolving. The story does not freeze her growth at the end. It shows that growth as something ongoing, shaped by everything she has experienced. Nick exists in a similar space, but his evolution carries a different tone. For him, the journey has been about learning how to share a life that was once entirely his own. He has not lost control of who he is, but he has learned how to let someone else exist within that control. This shift changes how he approaches everything moving forward. Their connection at this stage feels settled, but not static. It is built on understanding, but it is also aware of its own fragility. That awareness does not weaken it. It strengthens it, because instead of ignoring the risks, they have chosen to face them directly. One of the final sequences highlights this balance in a subtle but effective way. Noah and Nick move through a moment that feels calm on the surface, but carries a quiet awareness underneath. There is no urgency, no conflict, but there is still weight. The way they interact reflects everything they have learned about each other. Noah speaks with a level of ease that shows how far she has come. She is no longer holding back parts of herself. She expresses what she thinks, what she feels, and what she expects from the future. This openness is not reckless. It is controlled and intentional. Nick responds with the same level of openness. There is no hesitation in how he engages with her. He does not try to avoid difficult topics or soften the reality of their situation. Instead, he meets her at the same level of honesty. This alignment becomes the foundation of their connection. The conversation moves toward the idea of future, not in a way that tries to predict everything, but in a way that acknowledges what lies ahead. They understand that their path will not be simple, but they also understand that it is a path they are choosing together.